Hey, welcome back to DIY Willy. Today we're looking at something a little bit different than we usually do. We're going to take a look at tools. I had a subscriber mention to me and says, "Hey, you ever talk about the tools that you use? You ever, show more?" And yeah, I have a little bit. I have talked about some of the tools I use, but it got me thinking though. That got me thinking about having a special segment of just about tools, as many as I can get anyway. I use a lot of different tools, and a lot of them are common tools, but there are some unique tools. And well, we can talk about these tools on these videos. So I was thinking on making Tool Tuesday. Every time I get a new tool, I'll make a little video about it and I'll put it out on Tuesday. So today we've got a couple different tools. One we have from ToughGrit is a 4.5 inch WonderBlade, they call it. It's a cutting blade. It's a steel cutting blade. I guess it's diamond tipped around the edges, and they sent it out to me to try. It cuts porcelain, stone, brick, plastic, metal. Um, yeah, it's used for a wide variety of materials. Maximum RPM is 13,000. I have used it already. I used it to cut the razor frame in half. It worked pretty good. Um, what I like about it is it doesn't degrade over time. I'm sure maybe the diamond, if that is diamond, whatever the stone is on the outside of it, I believe is diamond. This stuff here could eventually wear off, I guess, and it may not be quite as effective. I don't know, but for right now, it's holding up pretty well. A regular type uh, cutting wheel will degrade over time and eventually get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you have to replace it. It's a consumable item. This one really is not much of a consumable item. If it works as well as it should stay. It should cut for a long time, as long as whatever process they use to put the diamond or stone on there holds up. So yeah, it works pretty good. Comes with a couple bushings to help fit different size shafts on the grinders, and yeah, we're gonna look more about this here in a minute. Secondly, I wanted one of these little grinder tables. Um, it's a stand for angle grinder. This is 72-6103. Picked it up off Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description to this. If this is on Amazon, I'll leave a link to the description in that as well. The manufacturer sent that out to me. But I'll leave a link to this in the description. And I haven't opened it yet. I haven't checked it out. The box was kind of shady when it got here. It's pretty tore up. I'm sure they tossed it around all over the place. But we're gonna get in there and check it out, assemble it. I've got my grinder right here, my Chicago Electric professional grinder here that we're gonna mount on the angle grinder stand, and we got a couple things we need to cut. So yeah, let's get this out of the box and get it assembled, to get the grinder put on there and see how well it works. Like normal, pull the tab, pull the box open. What do we got here? Well, we've got a shield. It's a plastic shield. We've got looks like a handle. This is the arm mechanism, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. The part that holds the grinder and goes down. I have my spring on the back. That should have came out with a bag. And I'm guessing this is the table or the stand. And some miscellaneous hardware. I don't, however. Oh yeah, there's some instructions. I thought there wasn't any instructions. No, we don't need you anymore. Now let's get all this stuff out and take a look. It's pretty heavy base. Pretty solid. It's a cast piece. It's pretty solid. Now let's figure out how we put it together. I mean, it looks like it's pretty much self-explanatory, but it's always a good idea to read the instructions. Get rid of some of this trash. Oh, there's a bolt in there. We might need that. Okay. There's a bunch of hardware. I don't know what we need here. We'll see. Oh, Willy. I like pictures. I'm glad it's got a picture. Let's see here. Safety instructions. This support is accessory for an angle grinder, which is used to convert a grinder into a cutoff saw. Yeah, that's what I needed. And there's a whole bunch of safety on it. I imagine this could be a pretty dangerous tool, I guess. But let's take a look at putting it together. Assembly. Fix stand 2, base, onto base. Stand 2. Which stand 2? This stand 2? No. What's stand 2? Oh yeah, this is stand 2. It goes there. Okay, so we've got to take these bolts out. Provides us a nice little Allen wrench. Of course, it doesn't fit. Is there another Allen wrench? Alright, there must be a smaller one. That one didn't fit the holes. Yeah, there we go. So we'll take these screws out. They were already put in the base. We'll take these screws out. We'll put this stand up. What do they call it? They fit, yeah, stand onto the base with washers, tighten with screws. 4. So the screws are already here. The paint must have been wet when they put this down. How do we get that out of there? Oh, chip the paint. Come on, dang it. Come off of there. There we go. Alright. See. So it's got a little notch here, or a little protrusion. And then I guess it lines up in the slot there. We'll put this back together. If I can get it started. There we go. Got the thread started. And we'll do this side too. Now I'm guessing they're slotted so that you can line your grinding wheel up with the big slot in the middle. You know, I'm sure every grinder's a little bit different, so they give you some room to play here. We won't tighten it up right until we, tightly anyway, until we get that figured out. We'll just cinch it down. We'll just make it a little bit tight. Just while we cinch it down. I may put some Loctite on those, you know. Okay, there's the base and the arm. What's next? Fix the top and bottom adjustment screw 7 and 13 at the top and bottom holes of stand. What's 7 and 13? 7 and 13. Oh, well, where did they go? I don't know. No, Willy. Figure this out, Willy. Let's see. What are those supposed to look like? I don't know. See, we got 2 like this. And we got some with heads on them. Or with this one, these 2. And then we got these plastic things. And these are the stops, I guess. I'm assuming they go with those. And some washers and nuts. See, let's fix the top and bottom adjustment screw. Screws 7 and 13 at the top and bottom holes of the stand respectively. 7 and 13. It is these. It is these. What are we supposed to do? I don't know. Let me figure this out. Okay, so I've got the handle put on. It says put on with a washer and the nut provided, but there was no washer, so I'm gonna have to dig up a washer. The nut worked. Just tighten it down. I just tightened it down by hand. These pieces that bolt to the grinder, they fit inside these slots here that you just tighten the bolts down, and this is what's going to hold the grinder. And then we have these pads here that are going to go against the grinder to try to square it up in the hole. So it says put the grinder in next. So that's what I'm gonna do. See if I can take the wheel off. If all this works out, I'm gonna buy a grinder just for this, so I don't have to keep taking it off. That way, I know it's just for this piece of equipment, and it'll stay. It'll stay here. So maybe it goes this way. Yeah, it must go that way. Okay. All right. So let's figure out those bolts. I guess that's these. It says it comes with 3 different size bolts to use. We just got to find the right one that fits the grinder. There we go. That one fits the grinder. All right. So I'm guessing possibly these are spacers. Yep, they are. So these little black pieces here, and I was trying to figure out what they went to. They're spacers for the bolts, to center the bolts, like that. Alright, let's mount the grinder in there. I don't know if the shield should stay on. I want to say it should. But you never know. We're going to need some wrenches too, I can tell. Okay, so I had to take it apart because the instructions, they're not the greatest instructions. But we'll figure it out. We're DIY Willy, right? We'll figure this thing out. So I took the grinder back off, and I believe that it needs jam nuts here on the sides. Once we get that in, that'll take up the space and we can center the grinder on the stand. So put this piece back in there like so. This one too, wind it back in there. I'm going to take the grinder, maybe, maybe, maybe. Oh, you know what? It's adjustable. That's right. I forgot. It's adjustable. We're going to adjust it. We're going to adjust it. It's adjustable. There we go. Well, the jam nuts could go on the other side. I'm guessing. I'm really guessing. But we're going to get this figured out. It could go on the other side. I wish the picture was a little more self-explanatory. Maybe like this. Maybe like that. I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at that picture one more time. Yep, doesn't say. It doesn't say. We're going to get this figured out, though. I think you want to try to center it on the stand, I'm guessing. Tighten these bolts down, and the arms move in. Yeah. And once we get the arms tightened in, once we get these down, then we can tighten up the bolts on the back. I'll go ahead, got it tight. I'll go ahead and tighten these up now. Did I find the rack? What did I do with the Allen? Did you guys see what happened to that Allen wrench? Oh, duh, it's in there already. Willy, come on, Willy. Make sure those are tight. There we go. Now, all we got left is to tighten up these. We'll tighten that one up too. Now this would also tighten up your squareness on your blade. I think that one definitely needs some Loctite on something. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. That looks pretty nice. I like it. Whoop. Whoop. Can't really cut that thick material, huh? If the head of the grinder is already hitting on the bottom. That's kind of a bozo move. Let's see what we got when we put the blade on it. Well, first of all, let's see this. I think this goes on. I think we assemble this, just pushing this through. How's that gonna work? I don't know, we still got some hardware left. Oh, it does thread on that side. Well, the rod just goes through and tightens up there. Okay, that makes more sense. So we can just loosen this jam nut up here with the little, right here, there's a little jam nut, or jam bolt. And we can loosen this one up. It's got a captive nut in there. And we can tighten it down and hold the rod where we need it. That makes more sense. Sometimes you just gotta look at the pictures. Come on, Willie. There we go. Now, this one would go on here. Like so. So, I would need to take the grinder guard off, because this now is going to take the place of the grinder guard. Right? Right. So that is, of course, a tool I don't have, a Phillips screwdriver. So I have to get a Phillips screwdriver. So I got the guard off, went and got myself a Phillips screwdriver, unscrewed it. I don't like take guards off. A lot of people will take them off. I don't like taking them off. I like keeping them in place. But this, theoretically, is being replaced with another guard. So hopefully that will do the trick. Oh, one of my feet has come off. That's interesting. Right here. Wondered what that was. That's a foot. Ah, it doesn't stay. Better get some glue. Better get some glue for that thing. Alright, so now let's adjust this rod. Of course. This rod needs to go in some more. Now you got to make sure when you set this up that it clears the shaft of the grinder too. So I think we're looking pretty good. And that foot keeps coming off. Where'd it go now? So what a project this is to install without better instructions. This really is. I mean, it's simple. I probably could have figured it out, but it does take a little time. So let's get the cutting wheel off out of here. Careful not to lose the washers that come with it. We don't need them. I'm just gonna set them down here. Now these grinding wheels, cutoff wheels, are directional. It's got an arrow, so make sure that it follows the direction of the grinder. Fit on there like that. And I like to keep an extra washer here. And then we'll screw this on. Line up the hole on the washer. push the button to lock the grinder. And give it a tight. There we go. Now we put the guard down. Doesn't really work that well. No, we could fix that. We could fix it a little bit. I'd rather have the guard over the blade like that. Right tool for the job, right? Crescent wrench. I could have got a regular wrench to fit it, but the crescent wrench was handy. All right. Well, that's kind of there. Everything looks pretty good. However, it's cutting into the material hold down. So that's where these two bolts on the side come in, because now we can move this over to align it up, the cutting wheel inside the slot. So let's do that. Let's loosen these boogers up again, and we'll slide it over to where it lines the cutoff wheel into the slot. There we go. Let's see. That's pretty good. It's actually all the way over. And that's good too, because it doesn't go any further. That means that it will be kind of square, I hope. That's my plan anyway. That it'll be kind of square. Come on, Willy. Willy! There we go. Tighten this one up. Gotta have these things tight, man. There's a lot of spinning power here. You don't want to leave something loose and have this thing fly apart. You like zing, all these parts going everywhere. I like its size. It's compact size. I like that. I like that a lot. Now I could take a square and square the blade up with the stand, which would probably be a good idea to make sure it's 90. And I may do that here in a minute. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, you don't have much room. I don't think you could have anything bigger than about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 underneath here, unless you laid it flat. If it was like flat bar, you could obviously have it more. But then again, you're only going to cut the width of the wheel. So let's see if we can square this up. Gonna have to carry a couple Allen wrenches handy all the time. Let's see here. Just got 2 little Allens. We'll put that at 0. Theoretically, that's square. Most of the time, I would be making square cuts. But, I mean, you could change it up to 45 degrees. And it shows 45 degrees in here. We'd have to double check and see how accurate that 45 degrees is. Get this locked down. There we go. And this thing slides. Just like that. I wonder if one of those bolts is supposed to go through there. Nah. There we go. Wow. I definitely want to get the square out and see how square this blade is, because I can kind of, looking at it like this, I can kind of see it's crooked. But we can fix that. We can fix that. Let me go get a square, and we'll try putting it in here and see how square we can get the blade to the base. So all I could find is my 2-foot square. We're going to try and see if we can make that work. We're squaring up the blade. Oh yeah, it's way off. Take a look at this. Let me turn this around where you can see it. I don't know if you will be able to see it, but you can tell. Come on, Robert. you can tell there's quite a bit of gap on the top. So the blade is not square. We're going to square that up right now. So all we're going to do is loosen up these screws right here. And we'll loosen this one and tighten this one. And that's going to allow the grinder to turn inboard, or turn like that and actually square it up. So I'll turn it towards me because I need to see what's going on. And we'll figure this out. So we'll loosen the top one, allow the grinder to come in, and we're going to tighten the bottom one. Tighten the bottom one. There we go. That's pretty good. Tighten up the top one again. I like that. Oop, that's too much. I just want a little pressure on the top one to keep it from. So it would be nice to double nut those and lock it in place. In fact, there's a couple nuts left. I should actually see if these nuts will fit that. They do. All right, hey. Double nut that, man. I had a washer. There we go. We'll double nut it, and that'll hold it in place. Although it kind of sucks that they do fit. I'll tighten them up as much as I can. The right tool for the job again. If I had a big washer, then that would have worked better. In fact, I'll probably get a big washer. When we cleaned up the garage for the razor project, I threw away a lot of that hardware I need. Just that random hardware. And that would have came in very handy right here. So I'll be on the lookout for some more hardware. Get me some washers. All right. Now let's check the level again, or the squareness. Ow. Heck yeah, I can work with that. There, watch. Can you see that? Heck yeah, we can work with that. I think that'll work fine. There. Heck yeah, we can work with that. I think that'll work fine. So we've got the cutting wheel kind of squared up. We've got everything tight. Just double check. Yeah. I think we're ready to do our first cut. Tight. Everything looks tight. What's this for? How does this go on here? I think this goes on here like this. Watch. I think it goes on like that. Very simple, right? Just to hold the... Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Woohoo. Now, the trigger. Does this mean I have to hold the trigger to cut it? Probably, huh? If I had a foot pedal, I could just put a zip tie on here like I do the bandsaw, and then just squeeze the foot pedal and it would cut it. We may do that later. Let's see what the instructions say about that. Operation: clamp workpiece, rotate screw knob, loosen clamp, blah blah blah, put piece in clamp, tighten screw clamp, hold work securely, adjust position of angle of workpiece, loosen the screws 25, adjust the position of the angle clamp, tighten the screws. I wouldn't do all that. Please ensure that the workpiece should be in center of the cutting disc. Oh, okay. Switch on the angle grinder and press the handle down to cut the workpiece with an angle grinder. Attention, start cutting with slight force. Apply even force during cutting. Okay. Okay. That's easy enough. So I am going to have to hold this. I am gonna have to turn it on and go at the same time. Nice. Put some tools away, clean the area up. We'll get some metal and make our first cut. For the razor project, I need to cut some of the square tubing to use it as leg supports for the frame while we do the cutting. So let's cut those off. Right now they're at an angle. Let's cut them off square so that they'll sit flat on the floor. What do you say that'd be our first piece we cut? Let me get all that. We'll get set up. Get all this flammable material out of here. Now, with this, you gotta wear safety glasses. Let me get the material. We'll get it plugged in. We'll give it a try. All right, so we've got it set up here. We've got it where we need it. I've got these square tubes that I want to cut a square angle on. We're gonna go ahead and lock them in. Oh, there is a set screw that should go on there. I should probably put that in. We'll do it in a minute. And we still have the base set at 90 degrees. Let's see here. We'll cut it right there. Measure it off. Now it's plugged in. We got the material. We got safety glasses. Always wear safety glasses around these power tools. Let's turn it on. Boogers. It hit the angle, it hit the material, the head of the grinder before it went all the way through. Ah. Now we gotta turn it over and start again. Hopefully we can get that lined up. That'll be the only problem I can see, is it doesn't have the depth needed to do these cuts. Especially some of this material I use. See if we can make a little skim cut. No. That's the only drawback I see to it. It doesn't have the depth. But it made a nice cut. It squared it up pretty good. It squared it up. Now this cut was pretty bad. Yeah, I think that'll work. Now we'll cut the other one. And try her again. Overall, I think it did a great cut, and it'll be perfect for small pieces, but it's not so much. I thought this was going to be small enough, and it's obviously not. Yeah, now maybe I could space this up a little bit and get some more depth out of it. I don't know, probably not. Most likely I'll wind up getting a bigger chop saw, one of the 10 or 12 inch chop saws for my larger material that I like to cut. But I mean, this will work good for the smaller pieces. The WonderBlade cut pretty good, as you can see, and it doesn't deteriorate the blade, so it should last a long time. We'll see how long it lasts, but overall the mechanism worked good, and yeah, I'm happy with it. Like I said, it'll be great for small pieces. But I wanted to try it. I wanted to see how well it worked, and I'll definitely be looking at getting a larger one, a larger chop saw. So overall, it worked. I'll be able to use it, and I'll probably get a grinder just for it, because this is my only grinder I got. I have another one like this, but it has a different trigger, and I think the bearings are going out of it, or the bushings that are inside it are going out of it. So I don't want to use it. I'll buy another grinder, a better quality one, maybe another one of these. This has been a pretty good grinder, and it's a road trip to Harbor Freight, I guess. Pick up the grinder I need, and then we'll set this up permanent. I'll see if the company can send me out another one of these wheels, and we'll definitely keep a wheel on here for cutting. It seemed to do really good. It does create some sparks. It does throw some material. I was catching it in the face. Make sure you got safety glasses on. But overall, I think it's a good product. It works, and it'll do what I need it to do for the most part. For my larger stuff, I'll have to get a larger cutting though. But yeah, that was pretty good. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Always come back to DIY Willy for DIY Willy Tool Tuesdays, tool reviews. Now, it may not happen every Tuesday, but I'm going to start doing it as often as I can. And we'll get a few of these videos out showing the tools that Willy uses and describing them. Like this one, we had to assemble it. And some of them might just be regular hand tools. But this was a good video. I'm going to get some good use out of this product. And, well, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.